deadline for 1099s is quickly approaching, and I've been getting asked a few questions, and I wanted to make sure you know about it. If we've never met before, hello, I'm Candus Kampfer. I love to help business owners and bookkeepers create confidence with QuickBooks, and I want to make sure these few little extra changes, you know about them. The biggest one first is that in 2023, that impacts in 2024, 1099 e-filing. Okay, so if you have more than 10 forms between W-2s, 1099s, other federal forms, you need to e-file this year, in case you didn't know that. And honestly, if you only have a few forms, it's almost easier sometimes too. So I want to make sure you know about those deadline changes, as well as I often get asked, if I have a merchant, do I paid somebody with a credit card, do I still need to provide them with a 1099? The answer is going to be no, but I want to explain to you in more detail about the 1099K, the rules that changed, what's coming, the things you need to know. I did a live training, so I'm going to actually share it with you. It's going to come up. We've kind of edited it up so you can just watch the important things you need to know. And if you're looking for more training like this, I'm going to share a way that you can get it as well. So let's jump in. There's some extra other little tips I'm going to give you as well. So let's see what they are. I'll see you on the other side. Something new to know about for 2023. They changed the requirements for e-filing starting in the 2023 year. So what gets kind of tricky is it's the tax year of 2023, but we do it in 2024, okay? If you have 10 or more combined 1099s, W-2s, or other federal forms, you must electronically file them, okay? To learn more, you can go to the IRS, and I gave you the link. You guys can go read all about it, okay? But for those of you who didn't know, if you have more than 10 combined forms, you need to be e-filing your 1099s this year, okay? If you fall under the 10, then you can paper file, all right? There were some rules changed for the 1099K. I'm going to explain them to you. People complained. They've changed the rule now. They've kept extending it because people aren't happy about this guideline. So I'm going to give you all of the updates. I'm going to tell you what originally was planned for and then what where it currently sits, okay? How many of you accept payments through merchant? Or you pay your vendors through a merchant? That's also what you're going to want to be considering, okay? Who did you pay with a credit card instead of a check, instead of cash? Because this is going to apply to whether you give them a 1099, and it will matter how you entered those transactions into QuickBooks. That's why I'm sharing this with you. So the 1099K changes were postponed until 2024. So I want to start with that so you don't get stressed, but I kind of want to tell you the journey that it's gone along so that you understand, okay? So prior to 2022, the 1099K, if you had a merchant provider, you'd get it if you exceeded 200 transactions, $20,000, okay? In 2021, they tried to lower that threshold, okay? To us, every single transaction exceeding $600 would require a 1099K. Cash apps, those kinds of things, because what they're trying to do is find all the money out there that's getting moved around that you may not be sharing that you've received, basically. So the money received through third party. In 2023, following feedback from taxpayers, they changed it for this tax year right now. They are moving it from 600 to, they're going to start phasing into 2024 about a $5,000 threshold, okay? We'll see if that changes again. So the agency is making a 2023 another transition year to implementing the new requirements under their American Rescue Plan that changed the Form 1099K threshold for payment taxpayers for services and goods provided over $600. Okay, so what does this mean for you? What it means is they postponed it another year. That's it. But you need to know this is possibly coming down the pipeline. And for those of people who aren't here to understand that the law changed or that they postponed it, you may receive a 1099K in error. So this is what you need to do. The IRS understands that there will be some errors with the 1099K because of the changes. So what it says on their website is resources for taxpayers. What you can do is taxpayers who receive a 1099K should review the form, determine if it's the correct amount, and determine any deductible expenses associated with the payment that may be claimed when they file their taxes. The payments on a 1099K may be reported in different places on your tax return depending on what type of payment it is. Now, disclaimer, you guys already know this, but I don't do taxes. So I do my best to give you information. If you get a 1099-K from someone that you worked with outside of your regular merchant provider, I'd recommend checking with your tax professional on this, okay, to make sure it gets corrected. So PayPal will send out a 1099-K unless they won't send it to you unless you hit the threshold Stripe, Square, PayPal, any of those, anybody you have a merchant with. This tax year, they extended it. You should not receive any 1099-Ks from anyone outside of a merchant this year. Next year, they're supposed to start with like a $5,000 threshold. When it gets here, I'll let you know. Because last year was supposed to happen, then they extended it, and I never know what they're going to do. So if you pay someone by check and sometimes by credit card, would you suggest a different differentiator? QuickBooks does it for you. We're going to talk about that. So in QuickBooks, when you're entering it, whether you're doing online or desktop, you're choosing, did you write a check? Or you're choosing, did you pay with a credit card? The system will not give you a 1099 for anyone that you paid with a credit card if you entered it into QuickBooks properly. So to enter it properly in online, you use an expense. To enter it properly with desktop, you'd go under credit card charges. We'll talk about it more when we get in there, but it understands the law, and it will not include the money you paid with a credit card on your 1099s. So if you paid someone $5,000 and $2,000 was paid with checks and $3,000 is paid with credit cards, you would only send them a 1099 for the $2,000. And the system, as long as you entered it properly, will know that. Make sense? This is why it's so important that when you enter in your merchant revenue for yourself or your clients in QuickBooks, that you have total gross sales, and then you take out the merchant fee as a cost of goods or as an expense. Because when you go to match the 1099s that you receive to your profit and loss, which is what your tax professional is using to file your taxes, your profit and loss, and you should give them 1099s that you receive, okay? So when you are entering that in, you want to be looking at that, okay? So this is why I said I'm kind of covering both with you, because I want to educate you on both sides of it, okay? So when you get a 1099 in the mail, make sure you add them all up, and your revenue on your profit and loss needs to be at least that amount of money, top line, okay? If there's a discrepancy, the IRS will amend your return and send a larger tax bill. Meaning, if you only said you made $90,000, but your 1099s are for $100,000, they're going to give you an additional $10,000 in revenue. That's why you always want to do gross amount. All right, thank you so much for watching the training. I hope you now understand. You may need to e-file if you didn't already, or additional forms that you still need to do, because W-2s and all of your quarterly forms need to be e-filed probably this year, depending on how many you have in total, as well as hopefully you now understand 1099-Ks, why maybe your merchants were not coming up to be filed because you paid with them with a credit card or debit card. And then also why doing gross sales versus net is so important for your QuickBooks. If you have any other questions, let me know below. If you enjoyed this video, any ahas, I always love to see them. And if you're new here, don't forget to subscribe and give this video a thumbs up so we can reach more people. And if you're thinking you really love to learn more about QuickBooks, how to set it up properly, 1099s, when changes and updates happen, understanding your bank feed, understanding your reports, make sure to check out our program, Confidence QuickBooks. I will link it up above and down below. Thank you so much for being part of my community. I'll see you inside our next tip and trick. If you haven't already, get those 1099s filed. I will see you soon. Bye.